Greetings everyone, welcome back to the bench. On the bench today, we have a Douk Audio, make hi-fi affordable. In a sort of beat up box here. What we got here? A100. So let's see what we get here. I got some good padding, so hopefully the thing survived okay. Got our little cards there. Manual. So we got our power brick. What did they bring us here? What did they give us? We get a 48 volt 5 amp 240 watt. So that means during the test it may not be able to handle the full power test. So yeah, hang on a second. Okay, here are the goods. This thing is a brick. It's got some weight to it. Really heavy heat sinking on this thing. Yeah, Douk Audio A100. So we have a switch over here. Off, mono, stereo. 3-position. Flat and sub, I guess that's the frequency contour. Ooh, super bass. Let's see what that's all about. SW Frink. Must be like a subwoofer frequency. The crossover adjustment. Auxiliary volume and just volume. Okay. Check the back of it here. Yeah, it's a nice big heat sink. Audio in, auxiliary out, and your speaker binding posts. 24 to 48 volts. And it has passed QC01. Alright. Alright, I guess the next thing to do is to plug it up, try it out, see what it does. Okay, we better go with the YouTube safe stuff here. So yeah, it's amplifier, it does amplifier things. That's the review, thanks for watching. No, just kidding. You paid a lot of money to watch this channel, so I better continue to review this thing. So, yeah, thanks Douk Audio for sending the amp in for review. It's doing amplifier things. It seems to be a hybrid subwoofer and just plain stereo amplifier. You can't use a subwoofer with stereo mode. It's either or, so you have to get one to be your stereo channel and another one if you want to do the subwoofer. So, a little example here. About sound levels, I got stuff hanging in the way here. I don't hear really any noise. Pretty quiet amp. It's got the strangest action on the volume control. It's really quiet. And at the very last, I don't know, few degrees of turning the volume control, it gets real loud. So yeah, it's kind of strange how that works. Okay, let's see. I'll flip it into sub mode here. Guess we have to turn that on. Oh yeah. So this seems to turn up the bass. What's this do? bass level. So what's mono do? Here's some relays clicking. Seems to put the speakers out of phase. So I have to RTFM that, see what's going on. Maybe you have to connect across the terminals there on the output. So yeah, it seems to be a pretty effective subwoofer amp. Of course, these aren't really subwoofer speakers, but if you had an actual subwoofer speaker, I'm sure you get some really good bass out of it. How about some lounge jazz bass subwoofer sounds here in the background? I'm not sure what chip they're using. I'll have to go to the website. I just pulled this out of the box and turned it on, so I don't know what's going on inside. We'll pop the cover open here sometime in the video and look at it. I'll just scroll through the specs here, see if there's anything interesting that will make your day. Ooh, we got some curves and charts and graphs and FFTs and stuff like that. Hey, we'll put it on the Quant Asylum too. We're going to send it to the Asylum. You're going to check it all out here. Yeah, so this is very interesting. In single sub mode, if you have just one subwoofer, you connect it to the outer terminals and you set that to mono. That's why the stereo speakers are out of phase. Okay, we're on the Quant Asylum, getting a power measurement. 8 ohms, both channels. 109 watts. I'm taking that measurement at about 0.5% of distortion. Let's switch into 4 ohms here. Oh, yeah, we're going to have that problem with the power supply kicking out. I'll switch it back to 8 ohms. I'm going to have to do one channel only. Okay, I'm just doing one channel and unplug the other channel. The right channel's flatlining because there's no signal. That way I won't overload the power supply. So I'm just being lazy here. I have it set for 4 ohms on the load, so you have to double this number, so it's 214 watts. So pretty good, and that's around 1%. You know, if I lower the generator's amplitude, you know, I can back that down, get lower distortion. See, now we're at 0.2 and putting in double this number, about 140 watts. So yeah, as we approach clipping there, the distortion is going to start going up quite a bit. Okay, let's look at the frequency response. We're set for 8 ohms. And where's my curve at? What's the problem here? That's this thing. FFT too small. Okay, what's that mean? Needs more data or something? I went the wrong way. Turn that up. See what that does. Nothing? Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the frequency response. So it about a dB down. Well, you can consider that flat. This is kind of relative because it goes to 0. So it's flat, and then it goes plus 1 dB at 20 kilohertz. So, yeah, that's pretty flat, actually. Let's set it for 4 ohms now. Ooh, 4 ohms is really flat. That's pretty darn good. You know, in the past, I've seen these amps start rolling off at 10 kilohertz. You know, 6 dB down at 10 kilohertz. That's insane. But yeah, this amp is flat. Okay, this is the frequency response for the subwoofer. It's set at minimum, that one dial, the subwoofer frequency. So the peak is going to automatically be set at 0. I have it set. So, you know, we're around probably 120. And it's pretty flat. And then it rolls off. You know, what is that? 10 dB down, 15. At 1 kilohertz. I'm not sure. Just noise floor junk. So let me adjust that dial. I gotta reach over there. Yeah, it's a high quality production here. Turn this dial all the way. Turn that dial all the way. Okay, yeah, that really boosts the bass. Again, this thing automatically zeroes out the peak level, so you can see at the low frequencies it's really, you know, at the highest point. And yeah, we're almost 10 dB down at 100, so it really cranks up the subwoofer and rolls it off. Now, it doesn't look like it's rolled off, but remember, this is, yeah, that's 50 dB down. So yeah, it's a pretty significant roll off there. So what is that, 10? So you're 10 dB down at 100. So yeah, that's pretty significant roll off. 20 dB down at whatever that is, 300, 400. Okay, I'm going to try this auto test thing they have here. Just do it right live here on the camera. Start level, I just want it to be the same. I tried setting that at 0 and it says it has to be 0.1 or more, so whatever. 20 to 20. 20K actually. Okay, let's see what happens here. Oh, there it goes. About 1.5 watts. Distortion looks pretty good. Here's the frequency we're at. Supposed to be able to graph this. I have to RTFM. I don't know. It's actually going up. Let's kind of watch it here. That's really climbing. Oh, hello. Just popped this graph up. THD, I'd rather have it in percentage, but yeah, I'll have to, yeah, RTFM this thing, but yeah, the distortion seems to climb. I don't know if it's the amp doing that or it's just some of my settings. I'll have to do some single frequency tests and see what I get at these higher frequencies. At least at these lower frequencies, it's very, very good. Okay, yeah, I'm manually doing this now. Yeah, set up about 1.5 watts, which is somewhere around the normal listening level. Actually, probably a little loud for most people. Not unless you're cranking it up at a party or something, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the distortion does go up significantly. Let's see if I can hit this frequency up button. Whoa, it jumped up quite a bit. 14.1 kilohertz. Now it's at 0.46% distortion. 0.7 at night. About 20 kilohertz there. 0.7. Yeah, so at normal frequencies, well, not normal, but 1 kilohertz. It's very, very low. Let me see if I can drop that back. Okay, that's 7 kilohertz. You can see the distortion dropping. Yeah, see how low it is down here? So yeah, I'm not sure why the distortion goes up so high at higher frequencies. It could be the output filter materials like the ferrite cores or something adding distortion at higher frequencies. I don't know. I'd have to examine that. I'd have to investigate that a little further. But at normal frequencies, your ears would hear, you know, the distortion's pretty low. You know, at 10 kilohertz, the first harmonic's going to be 20 kilohertz. It's out of band of most people's hearing. So yeah, the amp's not too bad there with distortion. I'm pretty happy with it. You know, working with analog amps, I'd like to see the distortion at higher frequencies not jump up so much, but I guess that's the way it is. Notice distortion goes up with higher power too, so I'm at 1 kilohertz, and now we're at 7 watts of output. You can see the distortion's about an order of magnitude higher now, so I'll just, you know, crank that up higher and higher here. So we're about 20 watts, 21, 23.08%. Yeah, nothing bad, but as we stuff more power into it. Yeah, now we're at 37 watts and we're at 0.11. So yeah, distortion really cranks up there when we increase the signal amplitude. As I turn that down, you can see those harmonics. What happened to my signal? Did we break something here? Hello? I don't know what happened. It turned itself off. Why did it stop running? Let's turn it back on. Okay. Yeah, see, I decreased the amplitude of the signal there, and it drops way down. Okay, looking at the inside of the amplifier here, I have a pretty nicely laid out board. Looks like we have Rubicon branded capacitors probably across the supply rails. Right there, that looks like probably a mini switching supply to generate the split rails for the op amps. Those little caps, I think they are Rubicons as well. Surface mounted 5532 op amps, probably for the filtering for the subwoofer mode. We got a couple pluggable ones, might be for stereo mode in the signal path. If you want to swap them out with something nicer, you could if you wanted. Over here on the output, we have a big relay, nice looking chokes and caps for the output filters. A couple smaller relays. I'm sure that switches the subwoofer mode because I can hear them switch when I do that. And we got some fancy pants resistors there on the input, I guess. What else? Oh, what's this chip here? It's probably some sort of microcontroller for the switching of the, controls the if you go into subwoofer mode or short circuit detection or something, switches out the relay. I don't know. I have to look that up, but I'm not going to. If you look it up if you want. Very good heat management. So we have this big heat spreader mounted to the chip on the bottom here, which transfers to the case. It bolts into the bottom. Yeah, that's a really heavy, chunky case there, with fins that help dissipate the heat. So let me remove this and see the chip underneath. Yep, the usual 3255. You got the little thermal pad facing the right way. If you remember that one amp I reviewed, they're drawing the heat through the epoxy side, which has an order of magnitude less thermal conductivity, so that wasn't good. But yep, the thermal design of this amp seems solid. I took off the, I wiped off the heatsink compound. I'll have to put some on there before I reassemble it, and making sure not to lose the little washers there, fiber washers. Okay, let's summarize my findings and what I think about this product. Well, I do like the design of it. It's kind of neat that it can be a subwoofer amp or just a stereo amp. Not at the same time, of course. You would need another amp if you want to use it as a subwoofer, and this one be the stereo amp. Thanks to Class D and external power supply, it's pretty small, yet delivers a lot of power. At 4 ohms, you can get 200 watts of power. Thermal design is excellent. Low distortion at low power, lowest I have measured. Though as power increases, or the frequency increases, I do notice I did measure increased distortion. Though, is that really audible? I doubt it. Low noise, didn't see an issue there. Flattest frequency response I've measured of these amps so far. I would not recommend using this with 2 ohm loads in stereo mode, especially at its 48 volt power. For one thing, this power brick's not going to handle it. It's going to cut out, and I think it's really pushing the amp. Now in sub mode, if they truly are paralleling the channels, I can't really tell looking at the board. The components and everything are under the traces. I'd really have to examine that more, but if they are paralleling it, you could use a 2 ohm subwoofer. But again, this power brick is not going to be able to handle that. It does have the wonky control, volume control action. Like I said before, you have to turn it all the way up. Around 3 o'clock it starts getting loud. Otherwise it's really low. It's just weird volume control action. Why do they have so much issue with these volume controls? I mean, it should be something very simple. Another issue I found with this thing is I think the gain is set a bit too low. It's 20.7 times, or 26.3 decibels. So if you think about it, if the standard for line level consumer products is 1 volt, and you put 1 volt signal in, you're only going to get 20.7 volts out. And this amplifier's maximum RMS output voltage should be around, 32 volts or so. So you're far short of its maximum capability. Now, pro audio line level signals are set much higher, so they might be doing that. I don't know why they would, because most people are going to use it with consumer products. So I think the gain is set too low with this thing. And as I mentioned several times, this power brick, it's 48 volts, 5 amps. Well, if you're going to use it with 4 ohm loads and you're going to crank it with bass music, you're probably going to find this power brick shutting down on you because it's overcurrent protection. So you really need 8 to 10 amps at 48 volts with this amplifier. You may not run into it with normal music, but if you play the type of music that has extended bass notes and you're cranking it up, it probably will shut down on you. So there you have it, my review of the Douk Audio A100. It's a decent product. Like always, I find these little gotchas with it. Has one unfortunate glaring one, and that's that crazy action of this volume control, where you have to turn it almost all the way up to get any sound out of it. Well, that'll do it. Thanks for watching.